Hello and welcome to our presentation of our solution to Agilize the SAP Solution Manager. Thank you for joining and I hope you enjoy our session. Agile project management is quite beneficial. Testing is an integrated part of the project execution phase, which means that the overall quality of the final product is higher. In the Agile, the customer is always involved in the decision-making process, which leads to a greater customer retention. Agile allows managers to have better control over the projects due to its transparency, feedback integration, and quality control features. The metrics used by Agile teams in estimating time and cost, measuring project performance are more accurate and relevant than the ones used in traditional methodologies. It also reduces risks because Agile works in small sprints that focus on continuous delivery. Agile divides the project in short sprints that are both manageable and flexible enough to allow the team to implement changes in shorter notice. Agile fosters an open culture of idea exchange and collaboration, which allows team members to learn and improve together. Now we know Agile project management is beneficial and easy to use, but it's hard to implement in reality, especially in a huge enterprise environment. We need to manage business requirements. We also need to manage defect corrections, urgent changes, admin changes, and a million other things. And everything in a complex and distributed environment where teams are all over the world have to work on. To keep track of all my changes, I normally use the SAP Solution Manager. It is the first solution awarded in all 15 ITIL processes of the Pink Elephants certification. It helps me to monitor my entire landscape. I have control over all my requirements. I can plan and track my changes, and I can organize my projects. So it's a perfect management tool, but hard to use in Agile development teams. So our Agile board for SAP Solution Manager helps to Agilize your business. It bridges the gap between the certified SAP Solution Manager processes and the Agile way of work. Here you can organize your business and have a better control and metrics in the monitoring. Here you can do your sprint planning, for example, based on IT requirements. Maybe you ask why I say for example. In our solution you decide how you would like to organize your Agile journey. So you determine via customizing which process types you want to see, what is somehow your user story, and so on and so forth. But enough talked. It's time for a demo. The Agile board is integrating seamless into the Solution Manager and presented as a Fiori tile in the Launchpad. First, we want to create a new project. Creating a project is quite easy. It consists of 3 easy steps. Depending on how the team works, you can choose between Scrum and Kanban. Kanban, for example, is very useful for defect corrections, because here you do not have any planning phase, you work on the way it flies in. In this demo, we want to create a Scrum project. After that, you select the control landscape for this project and you can choose if you want to use the change cycles as sprint at the starting point. So if you don't want to use the change cycles, you can create the sprints in our solution on demand. In the last step, you just select the teams which are working on this project. Every team will get its own virtual Scrum board so that they can focus on the things that needs to be done. That's all. After pressing save, the project is created and you are ready to go. First, I want to give you an overview of the planning view, where you do all the planning and prioritizing of the outstanding work. Since we use the change cycles as sprint in the project creation, you can already see the cycles displayed as sprints. The backlog shows IT requirements without sprint assignment, and during sprint planning you can assign them via drag and drop. Our solution is highly customizable. For example, you can define for every process the fields you want to see in the UI, like in this example the status, the story points, the assigned developer, and a lot more. It was never easier to do your sprint planning. Just drag and drop the requirement to the desired sprint. After the planning, for sure you want to do the sprint. This leads us to the heart of our product, the board itself. In the board, you can see all requirements that you have planned in the sprint, and they included admin changes, normal changes, or whatever you have defined in the customizing. Beside the workload, you also see relations between the items, for example, if a change is blocked by another one. This is indicated by this dot, also showing the customized criticality of the relation. For example, blocking something is more worse than being just a predecessor. Therefore, you can define different icons and colors per relation, so it's easy to focus on the really important things. The next thing I want to show is the definition of done feature. You can define definition of done lists in the customizing and assign them automatically to a change. The card automatically indicates the state of the progress of the list. The next thing I want to highlight is the color code of the cards. This is quite helpful, indicating the items which are overdue. In the customizing you can define different colors the closer the date gets. Again, just to focus on the important things like deadlines. In this demo we will just change the due date to get rid of the overdue. No worries, this is covered by an authorization check and when normally done by the Scrum Master. I think you already know how things go. Changing the status couldn't be easier. Like in planning, it's done via drag and drop. The last thing I want to show is the monitoring section. Here you can monitor the progress of the sprint. The burn down charts that are run chart of outstanding work, the velocity chart displays the average amount of work a Scrum team completes during a sprint. This chart displays the distribution per day. The flow diagram is an area chart that shows the progress of a project work items for a particular period. All these things helps you to have full transparency and detect upcoming problems and delays in a very early stage. Another interesting thing in the monitoring is the retrospective and the possibility to create action items and impediments. Here you can document impediments and delegate them to the responsible person. There are millions other things that can be discovered in our solution, but for this short demo I just highlighted some features. However, I hope you have seen the power of our solutions and how it agilizes the SAP Solution Manager. If you want to know more, feel free to contact us. In summary, one can say that planning a project has never become easier. Transparency and early detection of delays is one of the keys to success. With faster go-to-market, you can increase return on investment and surprise your customer with outstanding services and products. Thank you very much for taking the time. If you want to know more, feel free to contact us or visit our homepage scruminsap.com for more details. Thank you very much.